to clarify the law is this. Everybody is required to carry a bucket with them everywhere they go. The bucket must always remain within 3 feet of them in perpetuity. So basically, you are never allowed to be more than 3 feet from your bucket at all times. Okay? All right.
Okay.
You're in favor of it. Give your arguments for why this is a good thing. Go.
Oh, you go. You start.
Fine, I'll start. Seriously? Carry a bucket everywhere? This is ridiculous. What's the point? It's literally a bucket. It's going to be a hassle for people. People are going to forget. Are you going to throw people in jail who forget to carry their bucket with them while they're driving? They leave it at home. Oh no, they left their bucket at home. Like, what's the point in this law? This law is stupid. There's no reason for it. Like, why would you do this? This is absolutely
That's not very convincing, Bad. Saying as back in the old days, how do you think
he just turned it on a button, like what?
On firefighting and everything, and everyone carried around a bucket. In the old day, we didn't have fire trucks that would have these giant hoses. We had buckets, and people in houses next to each other that would grab their buckets, go across the street, get water, and go put out fires. So that's the first benefit. First of all, is that we would have free firefighting at all times, no matter where you are. You would save money, and basically that's one of the biggest pluses, having a bucket. There's a lot of other pluses too.
What, you gonna carry water with it everywhere you go to? Everywhere you go to?
Or are you gonna carry around an empty bucket?
Yeah, maybe you will. Maybe you won't.
Well then, where do you think there's water? Where's the closest reservoir to your house that has water, Bad? Mine's like 2 feet from my house, and I live in a state where there's literally water everywhere. So I don't know about you, but even if I didn't have water in my bucket, it'd be very easy to open a faucet and get water in my bucket. So
you're saying that fire prevention is such a crucial thing that we need to force everybody to carry a bucket
Did you just say you're saying that fire prevention is such a cool thing? Fire is one of the highest causes of death and loss of property in the United States.
Okay, so force everybody to carry a hose around with them.
I just sent too bad.
A
What
bucket
if you
is
don't
the
have
most effective
hands?
thing to
I
actually
want to
carry
see how
around.
it
A hose,
goes.
you can't carry around a giant hose where you can hook it up to. A bucket is a free thing you can carry around if we're mandating it. Or you can carry it around. You can scoop up some water, throw it on a house, and put it out, or somebody, or put it out of somebody, or use it against ants, or use it against bugs, or feed somebody who's in need, or who's a hungry homeless person who needs water to drink.
What if somebody doesn't have any hands to carry around their bucket? Are they going to be exempt from the law, or are you going to force them to carry a bucket around in their teeth?
Well, that'd have to be, if we're going into more specifics, that'd be something we'd have to actually down on the floor and discuss. But I think probably it's something that they wouldn't carry around with their teeth, obviously. But there's many ways to carry a bucket, like on your belt or something that used to be done in the past. It's not like you have to have hands, but yeah, I think that it could be an exception in the law that if you don't have hands, you don't have to carry a bucket.
Okay,
I mean, that sounds reasonable.
What about there's a million different situations where someone might be trying to use their hands for something, right? Maybe they're trying to push a cart. Maybe they're trying to carry their groceries with them. Like, are you seriously going to require people to carry a bucket with them instead of carrying their other stuff?
Well, I don't know if you remember yourself, sir, but
everybody.
you literally just said at the beginning of this debate that the bucket has to be within 4 feet, not that it has to be in your hand. Therefore, there's many ways you can have the bucket. You can put the bucket on your head as a little hat if you want to. You want to wear a bucket hat around? Go ahead and wear a bucket hat around.
What, so that you can't see where you're going because you have a bucket over your head?
Oh, wow. You can't see where you're going with a bucket on your head. Have you ever worn a hat? Can you see where you're going when you're wearing a hat?
So a mother carrying her baby also has to make sure she's got a bucket with her in case a fire breaks out, because that's so common.
Oh, what, put her baby in the bucket. Put the baby in the bucket. That's such a good solution. How is that not a good solution? Put some cloth in the bucket. Put the baby in the bucket. Carry the baby around. It's like a free flipping. And the government's paying for it, and we're making up for it. You know how we're paying for it? With all the money we save from flipping firefighting.
Yeah, that's what we need to spend all of our tax dollars on, is buckets for people to carry their babies around.
We're making up for the money that we're losing by saving on firefighting.
Have you ever been in a situation where you had to run over and you were like, oh, I wish I had a bucket to put this fire out? Have you ever been in that situation?
I've been in situations where first of all, that's a fallacy, because you're arguing from personal experience. We're not talking about personal experience. We're talking about the world, where there's millions of fires everywhere every day. Have you seen a fire? Probably not, but that doesn't mean they don't exist. And second of all, yes, I probably have been in a kitchen where I need to put out a fire, or like something on the stove where a bucket would have been useful, and I had to, look around the kitchen to get a bowl or something. But yeah, I did end up finding one, so I didn't end up needing it. But yet again, don't argue for your own personal experience. Argue from the experience of everyone around the world.
Literally, ask everybody. And guess what? Nobody is going to
I'm not
tell
smoking
you, oh my
eternity,
goodness,
I
yeah,
don't know why
I
I'm,
wish
like,
I'd
shooting
had
it.
a bucket with me. Like, that's ridiculous. Somebody
Well, you know who might say that?
in their
You know who might say that?
kitchen-
Someone who died in a fire
No.
might say, "Wow, I wish there
Oh
was
my
10
goodness.
people around me that all had buckets that could have put out the fire and
Yes, but
saved my
guess
life."
what? You have other
Maybe
things
maybe
like a
you wouldn't say
bowl.
that because you're not dead, but you're
You
not
could
thinking
go
about the dead
grab a
people.
bowl, fill it up in the sink, and use that instead of a bucket. Okay.
So you're
don't need
suggesting
to
we
carry it
change the
around with
mandate
you.
from a bowl to from a bucket to a
No!
bowl? Is that what you're
I'm
suggesting?
saying you shouldn't be mandated to carry around a bucket. That is ridiculous. That is stupid. It's going to be inconvenient. It's going to be incredibly expensive for the savings that you're getting. It's absurd. Like it's going to inconvenience everybody. Let's say you're driving to work. Okay, so you've got your briefcase. You've got maybe your lunch. Yeah, and oh, now you got to carry your bucket. So you get your bucket, you throw all that in your car.
Bad.
You go to
listen,
your desk.
Listen
and
to
you
what you're
carry a
saying.
bucket.
You're acting like we're a bunch of
buckets
you're acting like we're a
everywhere.
bunch of apes. You're acting like a bucket is something that has to be empty. You realize a bucket is an open container, right? And you realize that a bucket can be used
so
for
you're
many
gonna
things. Just carry your lunch
instead of your
Boom!
briefcase.
It's in the bucket.
Oh my goodness.
Boom!
Oh,
Put your
then
baby in
your
the bucket.
is
Boom!
full
Put
of
your
stuff.
head in the bucket.
Okay,
Boom!
so let's say your bucket has your baby in it. Okay. Oh, a fire just broke out. What are you gonna do? Oh, gotta dump my baby out.
You put your baby.
Fight the
Have
fire.
you never sat a baby down on the floor or baby down on the grass?
What, you just
for a
gonna
second?
set your baby down in the middle of the street
If
to
there's
go
a
fight
fire,
a
you put your baby down in the grass and you go and you save that person in the fire.
Oh
Your
my
baby's gonna be
goodness.
fine. It's
Your
way away
baby's
from the
gonna
fire.
be fine. Your baby's gonna walk off. Have you ever seen
Your baby's
on
gonna
the
walk
buckets?
off?
No, listen.
What?
Have you ever seen those
What
signs?
What baby are you talking
Listen,
about?
have you seen the signs on the sides of buckets that say "Warning: Do not leave around filled with water because a baby could fall in"? Now you've exemplified this situation because now
What?
there's hundreds
Do
of
not leave your
buckets
bucket
everywhere.
of water because the baby will fall in. Did you
No,
just say
a
that there's
bucket.
labels on buckets that say
They
that?
do.
Did you
They-
just say that?
On a paint bucket, you will see there is a
Okay,
little
a
sticker
paint
saying
bucket
"Warning:
because that
a
is
baby
toxic.
could
That's
drown
not a
if they
bucket,
fall
man. That's a
in."
paint
No,
bucket.
it's talking about if it was filled with a liquid, a baby could fall in and drown with it. Okay, you are basically by putting buckets everywhere, you're creating a situation where more
the
babies
reason it's
could
on
drown.
the reason it's on you're misinforming people.
You're
The reason it's on
trading
paint
fires
buckets
for
is that
babies
paint is
drowning.
toxic. If a baby falls into paint, it might as well die. Baby falls into water, the water spills, the bucket tips, the baby's fine.
Okay, so where are you gonna get these buckets from? Like, this is gonna be
It's
absurdly
government
expensive
mandated.
for
It's
these
gonna be
fire
something.
savings.
It's gonna be something that's mandated. So
What
the
if
the
somebody
buckets will be
goes and
given out
attacks
at
somebody
your
with their
local-
bucket? What if
What?
someone takes their bucket and just starts swinging it and hitting
What if somebody
somebody
takes
with it?
anything that they have at all? What if somebody picks up a branch on the ground and attacks somebody with it? How
Yeah,
does that
but
have
now
anything to do
you're
with it?
giving everybody a weapon.
Microphone
A
muted.
I
bucket
love
which
this.
can be
Oh.
used as a
Let's see what
weapon.
this-
You're giving everybody a
radio.
weapon. Like I said, what if somebody
Microphone
grabs a
activated.
branch on the side of the road and hits somebody with it?
Well, I
It's like,
guess
what?
now they can defend themselves with their bucket.
Yeah. They can
No,
put it on their head.
that's
And if they
ridiculous.
put it on their head, somebody tries to hit them over the head with a stick. Boom, bucket blocks.
Yeah,
it.
but now they can't see and they run into a wall and then they get mugged.
How can you not see? Have you never seen a bucket? You can put a bucket on your head like a hat.
Yeah, and
You
you,
can
have like
see.
2 feet of space in front of you that you can see because you're looking down
What?
out of the bucket.
I don't know. I feel like you still don't understand what a hat is.
Oh my goodness! A hat does not come down to your shoulders, you numpty.
A bucket.
It's a bucket.
What, how big of a bucket are you thinking of? I'm
covers
thinking
your
of a bucket. A bucket
What,
can
you're
be
thinking
small.
of
A
a
bucket can
tiny
be.
bucket that would just nestle on your head? How are you going to fit a baby in that, Dream?
You can
Is
have
it a-
what?
is
I'm
it a
talking
teeny
about how
tiny
small
baby?
is your head? Is your head like a pinhead or something?
What? No. Dream.
You
Look,
can have a bucket,
if a bucket
fit
is
on your
big
head.
enough,
Yeah, think of a bucket
Listen,
the size of a hat.
if a bucket, then it's not big enough to hold a baby.
Yeah,
if,
it is.
If it's a
big enough
bucket,
to hold a
I'm
baby if it's
thinking
the size
of
of a hat.
it'll go over your head. Okay. Where's what? Oh, there's another good point. Are you just gonna let everybody pick whatever size bucket they want? So some people get to carry
No,
around a
there'll
big
be
bucket,
there'll
and
be
some
a
people,
government-mandated
my
bucket.
bucket's gonna be this itty bitty bucket. Like, how's that gonna help in a fire? People
No,
are just gonna carry buckets
there'll be a
on
size.
their
I think
keychain.
you're thinking of a different size than I am.
No,
I'm thinking of a size that's
people-
about the size of a hat.
People
and
will
that
get around
has-
this loop,
it's
this law,
thicker. I mean,
by
it's
carrying around
deeper.
a keychain bucket.
It's
That's how they'll
deeper.
do it.
Well, no, I'm saying it'll be a government mandate. Therefore, it'll
you'll
be a
mandate a
specifically
specific
sized
size.
bucket. Now, I'm thinking of a size where it's about the size of a hat, but much deeper. You're thinking of a size that's about the size of a
That's not gonna
ginormous
be
man
that
you can go
useful.
over your head and over your shoulders, and somehow
Okay, so
you
you're
fit in this
thinking,
bucket.
no, not big enough to go over your shoulders, but you're clearly trying to think of a bucket that is big enough to literally only big enough to be used as essentially a hat. And guess what? I don't know the last time you saw a baby, but babies are bigger than that. You cannot fit a baby in a hat size bucket. If you took a hat and made it deep enough, then guess what? You couldn't put a baby in that. Okay. not in any comfortable way.
I think we just disagree. You totally could fit a baby in a bucket that's the size of like a
Why
house
would
or
you
slightly
even
bigger.
want to carry a baby around in a bucket? That's not safe. Okay.
Well, I'm saying
you put the
you were
bucket
saying what
in
the
a
person
car
would do with the baby.
seat
They could.
where the baby's gonna go. That's ridiculous.
There's women that have these little pouches where they have like these. It's like basically scarves they have together where they have the baby in it.
Oh,
it's
so just replace that with a bucket.
Had the bucket. Bad. Okay, you're acting like we're cavemen that don't have that are with primitive technology. You realize that Apple's gonna come out with some like supreme bucket that has like baby washing and deodorant
Seriously?
and everything in it that like
The
you
Gucci
bucket
bucket
all
has,
in
like,
one
a
bucket.
phone built on the side of it. Well, since you gotta carry a bucket everywhere, here you go. Here's your bucket.
The flipping
phone.
Apple bucket's gonna come out and it's
The
gonna be
new
10 out of 10.
iBucket.
Everyone's gonna buy it.
No,
They're
that's
gonna replace their
ridiculous.
government mandated bucket with this
Yeah.
government approved bucket.
And that's ridiculous. You
How is
shouldn't
it
be
ridiculous?
required to carry
you
around
have
a bucket with you.
You have a bucket that like
That's
Apple
just
will
gonna
upgrade and upgrade and upgrade.
inconvenience everybody.
It'll be the freaking bucket 5, and it'll have like these new features where you put a
Oh my
baby in it
goodness.
and it massages the baby to sleep.
Oh my goodness! Maybe you've made a
Microphone.
compelling
A touch
idea for
screen
like
on a
certain
bucket.
types of
Microphone
bucket
activated.
things that people. Maybe it's a good idea for people to carry around, but government mandating people to carry a bucket around is insane. It's crazy. It's going to inconvenience a ton of people who literally cannot, in their day-to-day life, have a use for a bucket other than just like no one wants to be working on construction and I got to make sure I have my bucket with me.
Well, you know what do they wear on their head? They wear a hard hat, right? Replace it with the bucket.
Oh my
Boom.
goodness, that is not nearly as safe as a hard hat.
How?
Okay?
It accomplishes the same task.
Especially if you're
Dad,
saying that all buckets,
we can have different installments. You can
No,
buy a
no.
bucket
If
that
you're
is the
going-
shape of a hard
yes,
hat.
but if
and
you're
is a
going to say it's
bucket
going to be
with the same
government
purpose.
mandated, okay, and going to fall within a certain couple restrictions, do you know why people don't go around at construction sites with buckets on their heads? It's because hard
I know,
hats
but I'm saying
exist and they're better.
These construction
okay?
companies will realize that having a bucket next to them will be inconvenience. Therefore, they'll create
you
a
just
they'll
said
create
having a bucket
they'll-
next to them will be inconvenience. So you recognize the
Yeah, I'm saying for
of
that
constantly carrying a bucket
specific
around.
job. Therefore, the construction
There's
workers
a million
will come up with
different
a helmet
jobs.
where they
A
have
chef.
basically a bucket that
A
fits and fits the
chef.
requirements.
You're gonna make a chef carry a bucket around while he's in the kitchen?
Okay,
Like,
what do you
come
think
on.
he uses in the kitchen? You'll use a bucket as one of his things, and that's fine.
Oh my goodness. That's what's he gonna
Anyway.
use a bucket for? Okay, he's got all his other stuff covered. And your argument against a fire thing, why don't you just mandate everybody carry around a fire extinguisher? If a fire extinguisher is if the whole point is to fight fires, then mandate everybody carries around a little fire
Well, like I
extinguisher.
said, a bucket has many
instead.
ways to carry it, including on your head. Whereas a fire extinguisher, try putting that on your head. Good luck.
Oh my goodness, why?
Anyway,
I
I rest my case. The money that
That
we
is
save from all the
ridiculous.
fires and the money that we save from the firefighters, we don't have to have because of the buckets we have. The convenience where you can put it, carry your baby in it, carry your lunch in it, put it on your head, put it on your belt, put it anywhere. That I rest my case. Buckets for all.
Okay, you know what? I rest my case that this is crazy. Forcing people to carry on buckets is going to
Microphone muted.
inconvenience them.
Thanks
All
for the
these
donation, Devin.
useful ways that a bucket can be
Steven.
used for. We already have products
Microphone
for. Do
activated.
them. I rest my case.